Singapore has one of the toughest math curriculums in the world, far out surpassing the likes of the SATs, IGCSE, and with such high standards in our math education curriculum. Scoring a B or a C for most students would be sufficient and would also be considered above average. However, for me, when I was a student over the past 10 years, I've been consistently scoring straight A's for it throughout my entire education journey, to the point that I have turned my love and interest in math into running a math tuition center called A1 Math Academy, where I have tutored over 150 students in the past 2 years. And in this video, I want to give you my exact step-by-step system as to how I consistently score straight A's for math, so that you can follow the steps of this system and achieve the same for yourself if you're a parent or a student wanting to improve your math grades, especially if you're a secondary or JC student. Now, just for some background, I used to be from Chongqing, Haimin, where I took 10 subjects including triple science, A Math, E Math, Higher Chinese, and all of your standard subjects. I scored L1R5 2 points in my O levels, which brought me to Hwa Chong Junior College under a scholarship from MOE, where I continued to excel, and now I'm studying computer science in one of the top universities in Singapore. And throughout the past 10 years, the first step that I followed religiously almost every single day when it comes to studying for math is to truly understand the fundamental basic concepts at hand before anything else. Now, being a math tutor myself, running this math center, teaching secondary school students and GC students math, I wholeheartedly understand the importance of understanding what you are learning in the first place before tackling any question, as opposed to just diving in and trying to tackle questions. Every single concept in math builds up and it's linked to one another. If you have a shaky, rocky foundation, you will eventually suffer down the road, because concepts are built on top of one another and it gets more and more complicated. That is why in math it's so important to understand and be really grounded in your basics before you start to advance and more difficulty and complexity. And that's why for me, even until today, I spend almost 2 hours every single day minimum practicing math questions, even though I'm a math tutor myself and I personally tutor 2 to 4 hours every single day. If you're a secondary school student or you're a JC student, you need to make sure that for every single chapter, you are able to reproduce the chapter summary page at the back of your notes or textbook. Because when you are able to really reproduce that, that is how you know that you truly understand the fundamental concepts at hand. And which is also personally why I've never used a textbook to teach in my classes. I know by heart every single fundamental concept from both the secondary school syllabus and the JC syllabus. So this is an action step you can take right now if you are serious about doing this. Compile a list of all the fundamental concepts that you are going to be tested in your syllabus. You can do this easily by searching up MOE syllabus document followed by your subject code or your subject title. For example, if you search up MOE syllabus document for O-level E-Math, you will see the syllabus document pop up usually in the first tab. Click on it and you will see every chapter condensed into basic learning objectives. Those objectives are basically your fundamental concepts that you need to know for that specific chapter. And make sure that you're able to tick off and answer every single question / learning point on the syllabus document itself. Treat the syllabus document like a checklist to follow through, and that's how you know that you have really thoroughly covered your entire syllabus. The next step of this system for me was that I constantly revise every single chapter, and I always tried to see how each concept from each individual chapter links to one another. After I've gotten really comfortable with my fundamental concepts, the next thing I did was to do questions that usually span across multiple chapters. And I did this consistently every single day for at least 2 hours every single study session. And why was this so effective for me? When I did questions that spanned across multiple chapters, it allowed me to see how one concept from one chapter can link to another and be tested within the same question. And this really opened my eyes to math and allowed me to see that math is very interdisciplinary. There is no singular chapter that stands alone. Every single concept links to one another. Instead of segmenting all the chapters individually, what I did was that before I started any new chapter or any new question, I will always revise chapters that are not relevant to that. I will revise previous chapters that led up to that chapters. And I did this practice consistently throughout my entire education. And this really allowed me to see math as an interdisciplinary subject, whereby one concept can be tested in many different forms and also can be merged with other concepts from other chapters. Once you're really comfortable with all of your fundamental concepts from each individual chapter, try to create a mind map that links every single fundamental concept within one entire syllabus together. I know this sounds really daunting, but if you're able to do that and link fundamental concepts from one chapter to another and see the connection between them, or at least try to verbalize yourself and be able to explain how one concept could potentially be tested with another concept, that is how you know you are able to apply concepts across chapters, which is something that all exams will always test you on, because rarely do you see chapters being tested in cycle. And the last step of this system, which is the most important but sounds the least glamorous, is to practice, practice, and practice. I wholeheartedly believe that repetition is key. As a student myself for the past 10 years and a tutor for the past 2 years, I have seen how repetition and consistent daily practice can take a student to great heights. At my Math Tuition Center, I have helped many students go from F9 to A1, right? One as quickly as 3 months. And how exactly did I do that? It's through consistent repetition, consistent practice in the right direction. Now, when my students come into my center, even myself when I was a student, I used to carve out at least 2 hours every single day back when I was in secondary school just to study math. And even up until today, as a math tutor myself, I also carve out time to practice math on my own. When you start to do something every single day, it becomes part of your natural self and it becomes ingrained in you. All the formulas, all the concepts just become second nature. Once you can really understand something for what it is, doing questions and scoring A's for math becomes addictive. It becomes a game that you can play because you know how to win. So this is an action step for you to take if you are truly serious about scoring A's for math. Carve out at least 2 hours every single day, not only just to do questions, but to revise your fundamental concepts. And it's perfectly okay to summarize the fundamental concepts from every single chapter, even though some of the chapters may repeat. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Now, as mentioned at the start of this video, I run a Math Tuition Center here in Singapore where I personally tutor every single student that comes in. And I wholeheartedly believe that this is one of the things that really separates me from any other tuition center is that I personally tutor every single student. If you're a secondary school student, now if you're a parent, a student from secondary school or JC, and you need help with scoring your A's for math, do WhatsApp this number on the screen over here or go and click the link in my bio to check out more details of the classes that I conduct at my Math Tuition Center. I'll be more than happy to help you out and tutor you personally if you're serious about doing well. And having tutored over 150 students in the past 2 years, rest assured this methodology works because every single one of them has improved significantly, because every single one of them improved quickly in a short period of time, and a lot of them went from F9 to A1, F to A1 under my guidance. So that's it, do WhatsApp the number on the screen or click the link in my bio to check out more details on my classes. And if you still think that Singapore secondary school math or JC math is difficult, click on this video over here and it will change your mind.